Drills Talk, episode 105. In this episode, we're going to discuss the top 4 ways to overcome survivor's remorse. This is based on a blog I wrote in the past entitled Survivor's Remorse. So, survivor's remorse is basically making it out of a traumatic situation and feeling bad based on either you being the only person to make it out of that situation. Let's say surviving a bad upbringing or maybe a car crash or whatever it is, but you being the only one to propel forward from that situation. Easiest example would be to make it out of the hood. Say you're successful and then you look back at everyone you grew up with or most of the people you grew up with, old friends, classmates, and maybe they haven't. And instead of you feeling great about it, you feel bad about it and you can't enjoy the fruits of your labor. Let's discuss.
Yo, Drills.
Drills Talk, episode 105. In this episode, we're going to discuss the top 4 ways to overcome survivor's remorse. But before we get started, please like, subscribe, show your love however you would like to show your love. Here we're an entrepreneurship-based channel. Every Monday we have a new blog. Every Wednesday a new Drills Talk. And every Friday I release an instrumental to show you what I do when I'm not making these videos. Let's get started. Number 1. Number 1 is to admit the trauma of your past. The best way to move forward would be to admit what happened before. So you can't really say, okay, well, I'm suffering from survivor's remorse if you don't see what you came from as traumatic. You don't see what you came from as, a tragedy or situation to where it can cripple some people, because it did. Obviously, you see that you're feeling a sort of way for living the life that you always wanted to live, although overcoming what happened in the past. But you don't see that as a traumatic event because you were fortunate enough to make it through. When you actually admit that it was a tragedy or admit that it was a horrible event or a very difficult upbringing, you tend to understand, okay, well, if that's the case, then let me look at everyone else who was affected by the situation. You take a look at everyone else in the situation and you see that, okay, well, this didn't propel this person forward like it propelled me forward. This person was stagnant after that occurred. This person actually regressed after that occurred. And here I am, and it helped me and it pushed me forward. And I feel terrible now, although I have everything that I've ever dreamed of. Although I'm walking around in a house that is maybe 4 and 5, 6 times the size of the apartment that I grew up in. I still feel bad for some reason. Every now and then it's just this feeling that comes over me and I don't know what it is. Well, you don't know what it is because you haven't admitted that you've made it through something that others have not. And maybe you feel bad that the others are not there sharing it with you, or the others are not there living just as well as you. It's a common thing. But before we can even admit to maybe suffering from survivor's remorse, we have to admit that something happened in the past that will cause us to even be experiencing survivor's remorse. Number 2. Number 2 is to ask yourself, why me? So you're feeling bad and you're saying, oh, well, this could have been anybody. Why me? Why do I get to enjoy this and that person doesn't get it? Why did I make it out? Why me? And then you have to understand, okay, well, whoever, maybe the powers that be, God, the world, karma, whatever you consider the powers that be, they put you in the situation that you're in. Number 1, that's why you, because you were chosen to be the person that came out of that. Or maybe if it wasn't a tragic accident or something like that, and it was just your upbringing, maybe you were the one that fought hardest to make your surroundings change. How hard did everyone else fight? Did they fight as much as you? Did they? I mean, it's something that we really don't ask ourselves, because most of the time when we're in a situation of experiencing survivor's remorse, we were too busy working hard, heads down, trying to get away from what we were in. And we don't understand that, hey, maybe I was the only person to do that. Maybe I was the only person to have the gall or the gumption to say I deserve better and actually chase better. Maybe I was the only one to see that tragedy or that traumatic experience as an accelerant as even more of a reason that I don't want to be in the situation that I'm in. And I definitely don't want to have a family or children and have them grow up in the same situation, because I know how I felt when I was growing up in that. See, there's a reason why but we don't sit and think of it. We rather go on about our lives and say, oh, well, I did this, I did that, but then have to deal with this guilt feeling showering us when otherwise we're having a great day. It's because we didn't address it. We didn't address what's the reason and why are we in the surroundings we're in. And then that gives us a reason to say, okay, well, maybe I worked my tail off. Maybe I was fortunate. But because of the fortune, I didn't just sit and say, oh, well, I'm fortunate. No, I kept working hard to maintain what the fortune gave me. And the misfortune that I, had to go through in the past, I didn't let that kill my dreams. I didn't let that kill my want to. I pushed forward. And this is why me. This is why I have. This is why I survived. It'll be a lot easier with handling that guilt feeling that comes. It'll visit you a lot less also. Number three is to ask yourself, why not them? Why not them? The same thing we did for ourselves. Did they actually work hard to get away from what they experienced? Did they attempt to overcome? Did they attempt to propel themselves forward from what they experienced, just as you experienced? Or did they allow that traumatic event to handcuff them? Did they allow that traumatic event to pause their progression in life, or allow themselves to regress after that event, whatever that event may be? Now, most of the time we're talking about upbringing or certain circumstances, and not, tragic accidents or losing a limb or things like that, but it can be all of that, right? It can be any misfortune, but how do you handle it? What was your response to the unfortunate scenario or situation? What was their response? You see, like, I grew up with a lot of people. I grew up in a city, major city, so there's people everywhere, right? So I know classmates, I know friends from the block, I know, people that I walk past on the daily, but I don't really know them. They maybe live 2 blocks down, but I see how they're living. I see their family. I see them growing up, but I don't know them. You see all these people, and everybody is maturing, but some people are heads down and trying to get out of there, and other people are totally fine where they are. They know of better, but they don't see that as a possibility. And because they don't see that as a possibility, the chances of them getting there are extremely slim to none. But see, if you were one of the people that were amongst all of that, but still somehow saw yourself one day being out of there and having better and experiencing different, that allowed you to see that as a real possibility and made that possibility even more probable. And it's just that the fact is that other people, the people who didn't get through, didn't think that way. And the next time you're feeling a little down or feeling a little bad because you felt differently and believe that you can get better, you need to remember that, hey, they didn't. And I can't feel bad about the mindset or what was okay to them and have that affect what I felt wasn't okay. It wasn't okay for me to live as I lived. I wanted bigger and better. I wanted more. I wanted some confidence about myself. I wanted some stress relief as far as financially. And I did all of that. And I refused to feel bad because someone else didn't from the same circumstances that I came from. You shouldn't. Number 4. Number 4 is to attempt to assist. Now, when I say attempt, I mean that because most of the time your help or your helping hand is probably not going to be welcome. You may feel that, okay, well, I made it. It's my job to reach back, which is totally fine. I understand that. This is my form of reaching back, just making these videos for people who may not want to ask the question, but have a question and say, okay, well, I can watch this video from this guy. And I have no feeling of neediness. I have no feeling of, oh, well, I asked a question or I needed help. No one's going to know, right? You're watching this video. You're most likely by yourself. You get something from this video. It helps you. Perfect. That's why I'm making it. But it may be an issue for you to go up to someone who in your circle has made it and you ask them because you'll feel less than. So that's one of the reasons why I make these videos. It's for people who want help but don't want to ask. And I'm okay with that because we're on like 100 and something, we're 105 now. So I'm making these for exactly those people. And I'm okay with that. That's my attempt to assist. But it's an attempt because they don't have to press play. They don't have to watch the video. But I know that I attempted to make the situation better for them. I attempted to give back, which is going to make the situation better for me. If I'm ever feeling guilty and feel like, oh, well, you could be doing more or you can be helping someone. Well, I'm attempting to help strangers. I'm attempting to help anyone who wants to help. I'm attempting to help anyone who is going through something that one of the titles of my videos may hit on. And now that they can watch that 8 to 10 minutes or more and say, okay, well, I got something out of that and I can be better and I'm going to be better. So now their thought process has changed. And I feel that it's great that I even have a small piece in that. And that takes away the survivor's remorse that I have, if any now, because I've really grown out of that. But when I did, I was like, oh man, okay, I was chosen to be semi-successful or chosen to get out of my surroundings. What can I do for others? And this is one of the things I do for others is make these videos and share my knowledge. And now we don't have to know each other, right? I can share my knowledge and it can help you. And you can go ahead and you can pay it forward by helping someone you know, or do the same thing I'm doing and put out, blogs or videos or whatever you do and help strangers to pay it forward. But that's your attempt to assist. But remember, it's an attempt. And don't feel bad if your helping hand is not reached because it's not your problem. Your attempt is enough. You knowing why you knowing why not them, and you accepting that, yes, something happened in my past, but I used it to propel me forward and not hold me back. Drills Talk, episode 105. These are the top 4 ways to overcome survivor's remorse. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. It's drills.com. Check this shit out. It's Drills.